Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
Oh, Alleluia. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus summoned the crowd and said to them, "Hear me, all of you, and understand. Nothing that enters one from outside can defile that person, but the things that come out from within are what defile." When he got home away from the crowd, his disciples questioned him about the parable. He said to them, "Are even you likewise without understanding? Do you not realize that everything that goes into a person from outside cannot defile, since it enters not the heart, but the stomach, and passes out into the latrine? Thus he declared all foods clean. But what comes out of the man, this is what defiles him. From within the man, from his heart, come evil thoughts, unchastity, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, licentiousness, envy, blasphemy, arrogance, folly. All these evils come from within, and they defile." The Gospel of the Lord.
There have been times in my life, especially when I was ignorant because of my youth, I did things that shouldn't have been done, but I really didn't know. I can honestly say, I just did not know it was the wrong thing to do, because I needed to learn something. I needed to learn something that would help me. I should have gone to somebody who knew. The tree of knowledge of good and evil is that thing where we can pick at it and maybe not know. But when that knowledge of good and evil invades us, sometimes we can't resist what the evil is, and we get caught up in it. And it brings us into a spiral down, exactly what happened to Adam and Eve. We didn't get there yet in the scriptures, but it's coming. On the other hand, there's the tree of life. The tree of life in the middle of the garden. He didn't quite say it to the man and the woman, but he implied, help yourself, eat all that you want from that tree. Because the tree of life refers us to what true life is in abundance. When we eat from the tree of life, we become sharers more deeply in the divine image that God made us. We become perfected in a beautiful way. Why? Because the tree of the knowledge of life opens the door to what is called truth. The truth about what it is to be a human being, the truth of what it is to be a good citizen, the truth of what it is to love and serve God in this life and in the life to come. The tree of the knowledge of evil is void of wisdom. It's capricious and self-serving and selfish. All these things are to the complete opposite of what God calls us to be. Self-giving, especially to him who is, who was, and is to come. And so, what defiles becomes this tree of good and evil. We don't know, so we make wrong choices. There's a great piece in the Catechism that talks about the obedience of faith. The obedience of faith is when my faith informs me that it should be this, and under no circumstances it should not be that. And it's the tree of life that we feed on that brings us to a place where we can say, everybody's doing that, and it looks like the right thing, but I need to go to the tree of life and do what God says. And this is what the commandments are for. The commandments open the door to the truth of what it is to live. Just think for a moment. Just think, what would it be like if everyone in the world were at least 60% consistent in following all the 10 commandments? What would the world look like? Amazing. And so perhaps this is not just about washing hands and being clean on the outside, but it's something that happens in the heart, where we find our relationship with Christ and invite him in. As it says in the letter to the Colossians, seek what's above. What is that is above? The above is what brings us to heaven. The above is Jesus Christ died on the cross. The above is Jesus Christ lifting us up in his body, blood, soul, and divinity in the Holy Eucharist, so that we can be of a mind that's akin to the tree of life. St. Paul in his letter to the Romans says it this way: be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Wash our minds in the tree of life and what our beautiful faith calls us to. And the world will be a much better place. And it can begin very simply just in the environs of who we are here and now, to seek what is above, not what is below. Seek the tree of life and leave the tree of knowledge of good and evil to be left aside. Part of that tree of knowledge of good and evil is this. It's an interesting sin. The tree of knowledge of good and evil entices us and invites us to take a look and see what the evil is. This is called the sin of curiosity. You look where you shouldn't be looking. However, we look to Christ. We look to him elevating us in the Eucharist. And we can also rely on him to help us experience reconciliation whenever necessary. See you at 5 p.m. this evening for confessions, if necessary.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, qui aquae meruisti portare, alleluia, resurrexit sicut dixit, alleluia, ora pro nobis Deum, alleluia.